Welcome to the Handyman Pros Radio Show, home improvement and maintenance tips from the pros.
Welcome to the Handyman Pros Radio Show Action Edition, where we feature feedback from you, our listeners. I'm here with my old buddy, Larry. Larry, what you been doing lately?
John, so this tip, this is not from a customer comment or anything. This is from Larry is at Sherwin-Williams. So Larry's down buying some paint at Sherwin-Williams.
Oh, it's an email from Larry.
It's an email from Larry. That's right. So Larry says, I was down at Sherwin-Williams the other day, and right there on the end cap was this thing called Color Snap. Do you know what Color Snap is? So the real story goes, Larry's down at Home Depot, or not at Home Depot, Larry's down at Sherwin-Williams, and he sees this Color Snap tool. So Larry asks the guy behind the counter, what the heck is this thing? And he proceeds to tell me that this is the big machine that they have in the back, right, where they take your paint chip and they scan it and they match the color, right? You all know what those things are, right? Every big box store has one, and Sherwin-Williams, anybody in paint has one. Well, this little thing, it's called the Color Snap tool. I guess you can get it at on Amazon as well. But this is that tool in a little cylinder thing. It's about 2 inches long and it's maybe an inch in diameter. And you take the cap of it. It ties to an app on your phone, and you put that thing up against the wall, and it gives you all that same information as if you take the paint chip or whatever down to the store and have them match it. And I was like, I remember I called you, didn't I, John, when I found this thing? And yeah. I asked you, I said, have you heard about this thing? And you then proceeded to do what? You went.
I did not. I never knew they had a little gadget like that. I was like, wow, okay.
So we looked at it on, you sent me a couple of links on what guys had used, and then I went out and used it. And I've used it many, many times at this point. And it is the coolest thing. Now, I'm not saying as a homeowner necessarily that you need this, but definitely if you're a handyman and you do anything with paint, you need this Color Snap tool, because this thing, look, it paid for itself the first time I didn't have to go to the freaking store with a paint chip and have to fix the repair where I cut out the hole in the drywall to get the color right. And the way it works is it comes up with and you can look it up. It's online. There's way more better information than what I'm going to give you. But it comes up with these star ratings as far as confidence on the color. And the last time I used it, I was actually doing a thing and I was painting a ceiling of all the things, right? And I was just like, I have this thing. I'm just going to make sure that I've got the color correct, right? Because I'd rather check it before than put the paint on and go, what? Oh, it doesn't match, right? John, you ever been there?
Oh, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I put that thing up there and I put it in. And of course, what's it tell me? Well, it tells me it's extra white. And then it's got a star rating on, percentage of how, what's your
confident?
How confidence, 5 stars. I'm like, bingo, it's extra white, right? Sure enough, it was extra white. Outstanding tool. It's definitely something if you're doing trying to match any kind of paint. Oh, do not. One of the other things the guy told me is it'll match if you're in the decorating mode, which John, I don't know if you're in the decorating mode.
Absolutely. I was just going to say for all you folks out there that are going to decorate, or you're going to do a room, or you find some curtains to match, or you're looking at the color wheel to find out what kind of colors go with what. I mean, you can take something like this, right, Larry, and be able to, get that color off the curtains or whatever. Doesn't matter, right?
Yeah,
and then go from there.
Yeah, and it actually gives you it gives you the Sherwin-Williams paint code. Like it's the code. You go and say, I want, whatever it is, origami white. It's SW7. Please, folks, don't take this because I'm not sure of the number. It's SW7068 or whatever the number is. I don't know why I know that number. Anyway, and that's actually the color. I mean, it's like boom. What a tremendous tool. I mean, it's really been a tremendous tool.
And I was going to say the other thing is that one of the great use cases for something like that is I know these guys are out painting, or you might be out painting. Or anybody, that you're painting a wall or something like that, and you run into another room and you don't have that color, you can actually take this thing, snap that color, and email that information to Sherwin-Williams to have the paint mixed up.
Yeah, so you can either go pick
and
it up,
so
or if you're lucky enough, they'll deliver it to you.
Or, your workers, some folks that are working for you, or maybe another family member can run out while you're still going, and nobody has to stand around waiting for them to make the paint. There it is, boom, on the counter, your name on it, buy it, out the store, back to work.
Yeah, it really is. And again, for us, I know for me, that making sure I've got it right before I go get it, it has just saved. It's just multiple times now. It's just saved my bacon. It's just because I don't know if you. So in paint codes, I don't want to get into a long show on paint, but if you're one number off, these things are all. It's basically a recipe, right? If you're one or two numbers off, you can actually see the difference. And so this thing gets you close. Now, I will say on one of the walls I did it was kind of a. I'm just going to say it. The wall was dirty. Straight away, the wall was dirty, and we were just doing some touch-up. So I shot 3 different spots on the wall, and I came up with a consensus. And that when I shot the 3 different places on the wall, all 3 came up with one same color, and then it brings up different colors, and it gives you the stars as far as what the confidence is. But I knew that once I got 3 different spots on that wall, and they all had the one color in it and not the others, that was what the color was. And sure enough, that's what the color was. So it's a really cool tool. John, is there anything else you wanted to add on this one?
No, I think you're just. I think it's dead on. I think it's the bottom line is it's accurate. It is a time saver, and talk about reducing aggravation. It's tremendous for all of those. Now, a lot of folks out there, even that might have just bought their first home or bought another home, used home or whatever, and you might like the color that's in there, and you may need a little touch up here or there. I mean, here's a way that if they still don't have that color, without taking big chips off the wall and trying to go get a match, you can use this thing around the house. So I can see this thing being used in a multiple way, multiple ways. So I'm glad that you brought that to my attention.
Yeah, it literally was the only way. I mean, I found out about it from an end cap. I think that's the most amazing thing in the whole wide world. It just was sitting there, and me being me, I'm sitting there looking at it going, what the heck is this thing? So anyway, folks, don't forget to join our Facebook group.
An impulse buy.
It was an impulse buy.
Impulse buy, Larry.
Well, it was an impulse buy, but it was born of the frustration of been there, done that, right? Like, oh my God, what a pain in the freaking butt it is to try to take that chip out. And then this, John, you take the chip out, right? And you don't have enough. You're like, or you drop it in the car and it breaks apart. Your chip breaks apart. You're like, dude, aggravation, right? Time, money, and aggravation. That's what the Handyman Pros Radio Show is all about. Trying to save your time, money, and aggravation. So anyway, hey, don't forget to join our Facebook group at Handyman Pros. Join the conversation. Send us little tips and tricks like this stuff. If you want to send us an email, it's questions@handymanprosradioshow.com. You can go to our homepage and leave us a voice message. All that kind of good groovy stuff. And we will see you next week. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've enjoyed this podcast and have derived some value from it, here's 4 things you can do. 1, tell your friends about this podcast. 2, hit subscribe on your podcast player. While you're there, leave us a review. 3, subscribe to our newsletter by going to handymanprosradioshow.com and click on the subscribe button. We'll inform you of upcoming events, shows, and give you actionable tips for maintaining your home and property. And 4, send us an email with your questions to questions@handymanprosradioshow.com. That's handymanprosradioshow.com. That's our show for this week. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week on the Handyman Pros Radio Show.